Colleen Russo, there's Colleen, hi Colleen, 11th Avenue, Morrison's. Yeah, sure, come on up.
I don't need to. If I'm
Yeah, it doesn't work anyway, we're not loud. Stay back there.
not
Colleen.
loud enough, I'm used to talking to, and I want to thank you for remembering my father-in-law, Phil Russo. For anyone who met him, he was an amazing man, and yes, so get it here. Okay. Anyway, so I'm used to talking to him for the last year, and my voice will be loud enough. Anyway, I'm here tonight. I did not know that you were going to be doing that, so that is a coincidence. But I wanted to chat about the opening of the Hay Road Apartments. I live on 11th Avenue, and since the opening, I know there was a traffic study done. I know that there was not expecting to be any additional traffic congestion or a need for a traffic light. But I know of 3 accidents that have happened since they opened. One right in front of where I guess it's already closed off, where there's supposed to be entries or exits. But there was one right there, right on Hay Road where they're coming out and going in. And then 2 right at Kutztown and Hay Road there, Hay and Water Street meet. One where my husband was actually coming home from work, and then he ended up having to be a witness where an officer had to call him, and then another one that was pretty bad. So since their opening, there was 2 intersections. So I do hope that there is some attention paid to that intersection with the increase in the opening of those and the more occupancy taking place. And I would also ask that, I don't know if you can put a counter on 11th Avenue now, so we can maybe do another counter later. Came from, but he was somebody who was impatient, not wanting to wait until he was moving where the street was more wide. It was probably one of the most narrow spots on the street, and somebody almost took him, wiped them out, and so I don't know if you can study now and then just study later and see if there's an increased amount of traffic. I don't know what we can do to limit the amount of traffic on a very narrow street, but I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. But it's, it's not a traffic, not a street that can take a lot of traffic.
It's very narrow, but thinking out of the box, would it one way, would that happen?
Whatever suggestions we have. I don't know if it would even matter if it was posted as residential, as, I don't know, those signs that say local traffic only. I don't know if anyone wants to pay attention.
Well, decisions for the Hay Road, Kutztown Road traffic signal depend on, correct?
It would, and that would have been based off of a traffic study done and reviewed by the Planning Commission at the Hay Road subdivision and land development onset.
So
we can
even though it's not directly on it, they would have done that down there.
Yes,
They would have-
yes. So I can revisit that plan, but as I recall, the plan did not call for any traffic control devices to be installed at that intersection.
Do you know, Lieutenant, if we've been going out there a lot for accidents intuitively? You have an idea?
Off the top of my head, I can't say. I'd have to do some research.
Yeah, because I'm just curious, because this came up from someone else there on Kutztown Road about even trying to, because we don't have a lot of control because it's a state road, right, Jim?
Correct.
That if putting a right-hand only turn, a recommended right-hand only turn.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. There's a right-hand only turn at Fresh Valley
Yeah.
Road on a certain hours of the day. I come out of there every day because I work at the RMCTC. I come out of there every day at like 2:55 PM, and probably 2 cars in front of me every day are making a left.
Well, that, the one in Laureldale.
Yeah, that's an enforcement.
I did,
We're
yeah.
better than
I
Laureldale.
just called
Just
out them
remember
that they would be
I grew up
fortunate if they sat there every day at 2:55.
Tell them, Lieutenant, we're better than Laureldale out here, so we'll make sure it does that. But honestly, in jest, there's limited amount we can do because of our control over Kutztown Road. So, I don't know, well, let's do some homework on
Yep,
what we can
absolutely.
do. And I hear you like on that particular instance, but, you know, you knock a couple people off and because most of the people I would imagine coming down that road will be living in the apartments or Hay Road. That can change the verbs, hey, watch, they're gonna go get you. Not that we're trying to get people, we're trying to make the neighborhood safer. but-
Right, it's definitely an intersection where it's hard to see.
Sure. Oh, no, it
and
is, yeah.
it's- Yeah, people are trying to.
Well, we'll do some homework, Colleen, and then we'll follow back up with you and see what we, unless my fellow board commissioners have any other recommendations.
That's probably the best we can, because PennDOT is just so difficult to work with, to try to have them put lights at intersections. But when I was still representing the First Class Townships on the Running Area Transportation Study Board, and the members were arguing with PennDOT about putting a left turn signal at the intersection of 222 and 73, and PennDOT fought so many times because the traffic didn't warrant it, the volume isn't there. And, you know, the police chief for the township came down and said, you know, sooner or later, somebody's gonna get killed, and then you're gonna do something. It doesn't matter what your numbers are, but PennDOT just holds so hard and fast to their guidelines about installing traffic lights. But I mean, we could certainly have conversations with the senator, but they're tough to deal with, but, yeah, I think we do.
You're right, Colleen, that the traffic coming up and down Hay is going to increase more with more houses being built up there. But when I get on the rail trail there to do some work, there's cars flying down Hay. And I hold my breath because, you know, there's kids going across Hay on the rail trail.
So is that where they blocked off the entrances now? Was that supposed to be entry and exit for the apartments, and now are they avoiding that?
So they're gonna open Commerce Street, they're gonna extend Commerce Street through, and I think that it's rough, and I haven't been up there in a week or two. But the second entrance, the lower entrance that I think you're referring to is fire vehicle access only. So I think there's a gate there, right? Is there?
There's like 3.
Yeah, bollards. Yeah, that's exclusively for,
Oh, she said they're going through now. They knocked it down.
okay, well, that'll be up to the developer to repair that. You can look into that tomorrow.
Yeah, can we talk to the developer and, you know, property manager?
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you. Well, anyone else wish to speak under the first public portion? All right, we'll move on. Need a motion to approve the entire consent agenda.
Move.
Second. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, just a question, Jim, it was in the minutes, Parks and Rec board minutes, you know, sometimes little things stand out. So there was a blip about some illegal dumping over at the brush dump. So I read that, you know, we took their card privileges away. Do we have the authority to do any kind of fines or anything there?
Sure.
Have we done, did we do that too?
We have not done, because we knew that they came in, but we did not know how much they brought in. Yeah, but we do have that ability via the police department. Our plan is our next grant application to DEP for the 902 recycling program includes some additional cameras, which will include some license plate readers, which will help us to track, the license plates that are registered to the fob. In this particular case that you read about, the woman lived on 8th Avenue, and the person that did the work for her also lived on 8th Avenue. She gave him the card. He runs, a landscape construction company, and never gave the card back to her. We reached out to her, no response. We canceled the card, no response. We haven't heard a word from either of them.
Thank you.
I believe, speaking of license reading, not to digest another topic, but I think I talked to Joey about this one of the events. Are we planning on putting one down at Jim Dietrich since there's no other way out? Every license plate that goes in, we at least know who entered.
Does our current camera,
Our current cameras is more for counting and the close-ups of the car, but they're an overhead view. But we could get a quote from RMI to look specifically at the cars.
Because of some of the dumping and problems we've had down there, at least to give our boys in blue some, at least heads up of who's down there and what's, because when you walk down there, as many of us do all the time, there's activity down there that they can't be down there 24/7, but at least we can call and say, well, this time, watch out for them. I think that would be good. I don't know, something like that costs.
a couple bucks. It won't be
Couple bucks,
cheap,
man.
but.
Look at it.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, we can touch base with RMI.
All right, thank you.
I'll get you an updated quote.
All right, thanks. All right, any more questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Noes, if any. Ayes have it, so ordered. Any unfinished business by any board members? Being none, moving on to new business. I need a motion to approve payment of the bills presented by the Director of Finance and Customer Service. Any questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Noes, if any. The ayes have it, so ordered.
Yeah. My first time has been at track.
To
Sorry.
see, motion to approve the civil service regulations as amended by the Civil Service Board at their September 30th, 2021 meeting.
Move.
Any questions or comments?
I would have a question. The change, is that basically for the expanding the rejection ability of the candidate?
Basically, yes. The majority of the changes really just give us better standing if there's a challenge to a rejection of a candidate. Act 57 increases our responsibility, but it doesn't really affect our procedures because we already do background checks on applicants that far exceed the bare minimum. This is just creating a bare minimum for departments that don't do background checks. But the majority of the changes that we're actually asking for just give us a better case to present in the event of an appeal.
Thank you, Lieutenant. More questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Noes, if any. The ayes have it, so ordered. A motion to approve payment application number 11, Division Mechanical, in the amount of $21,199.18 for work associated with the Public Works Maintenance Facility.
Second.
Any further questions or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Noes, if any. The ayes have it, so ordered. Other new business, the only item I wanted to bring up, I could have brought it up in a meeting, Jim, that we talked about due to some resident complaints and problems about where we're at for a recommendation on Liza's Bridge Hartman Road to clip a structure that they can't go past.
We are working now. Steve's been in email correspondence with Med Ed employees regarding them giving us permission or them giving Amazon permission to construct signage that's there. That's our first step. It's being kicked around the large corporation that is Med Ed now, but it sounds like most of the correspondence that I've seen, it seems like they're agreeable to allowing Amazon to do something. Once we get that permission from Med Ed, then it's back to Amazon saying, here's what we're looking for. Here's the expectations. Here's what we'd like to see. Steve,
Yeah, and Amazon's fully on board. They're just solely looking for that permission to get something along the intersection in Hartman and Sylvia's. Come to terms with Med Ed. Med Ed kind of says, hey, look, we're not responsible for X, Y, and Z. Amazon has to be responsible for that portion.
Gotcha. So
They didn't want lighting, they didn't want any maintenance issues, it was just something simple.
So we are talking about an arch over the roadway.
We haven't spoken with Amazon about that yet. We need permission to be able to
Down
place
around
it.
with signage before for cop, everyone did test that more. Yeah, so, all right, well, you guys.
We
are on it.
need the permission from Med Ed to be
Yeah,
able
from
to.
there, we can get further into what something on our property. We'll see what we do that.
Are you bringing Reading into the conversation?
Yes.
I've had a conversation with the managing director, and once we've got the buy-in from, or the approval from Med Ed, we'll have a meeting with Amazon and involve the city, yes. The city, unfortunately for them, it's a bit of a different problem. So the city already has signage at the off-ramp at Route 12, at Denton Street, and at the end of Sofianos that say, no trucks larger than a class, I forget what weight class it was, but not more than 10,000 pounds.
Same thing
So
we have.
the city already has the ability to enforce that, but their police don't have the ability to enforce that.
You're not gonna put an arch over Route 12.
You're not gonna put an arch over Route 12, and if you expect Amazon to post signage at the River Road exit at Route 12, you're talking about a highway occupancy permit, which is not going to be a quick process.
Well, if they can't get under the thing, they can't get under the thing,
So-
so they gotta turn.
Yeah, we'll have to put it, build an extension to the bridge under River Road that's there, but yes, we're working with Med Ed first, so.
Well, thank you, I'm glad it's progressing. All right, we have no board appointments, correct?
Correct.
Anyone wish to speak under the second public portion?
I'd like to work back on what Colleen was talking about the Hay Road development. About the development that's going up next to Dietrich's Park. Has there been a study there with the traffic? And it's gonna be a bottleneck there once those homes are built. Is there any, I know there was talk some time ago with the commissioners about another access to that area. Where are we at that point?
Well, I can respond. We had a conference call right before our old township manager left, Brian Harris with PennDOT and the senator's office about creating at least an out there because of the increased traffic, because that bridge is it. And if something happens, the cluster, what'll happen on Route 222 if that happens. So to Commissioner Lurch's point, it's like, moving the Catholic Church in a new direction, it's tough to push them to do anything. So we have been in conversations for a long, long time, but the urgency has accelerated due to his development to that. So that's the best way I can answer your question. We're starting and continuing to follow up to see what progress they're making. They did engage an engineer.
Well, and system design is working for it on our end as well, yes.
Yeah. So to answer your question, yes, we have tried to address that, but he is conforming to the requirements. He's required to conform with that as far as we know.
PennDOT doesn't work quickly either.
Yeah, we're trying to at least get it out. Don't need to answer your question.
Can the public get involved and call PennDOT?
Sure, the more support we get, the better.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Seeing none. Mr. Falco.
So I'm all good.
Joseph?
October is Cybersecurity Month. Make sure you have strong passwords, update your software, and just use common sense when opening emails.
Jeremy?
We'll be kicking off our 2021 road projects, November 2nd. Letters will be out to the residents prior to that. The 13 roads we are doing this year. So look on the website for any detours or construction.
What about leaves?
We're out. Bring snow.
Sean?
Don't say that.
Just at the budget meeting, it will be held this Saturday at 8 a.m. at the new Public Works Building.
Where is it? I'm sorry.
At the new Public Works Building.
Lieutenant?
Major or two cadets in the academy progressing well. forward to getting that out.
Planning Commission meeting this Wednesday. The Planning Commission will accept 2 subdivision and land development plans. We'll also continue discussions on the comprehensive plan. And from the Parks front, thanks to everyone who attended and volunteered at the hayride this past weekend.
All right. Commissioner Lynch, you're up first.
Election day is coming. So I hope you all go out to vote, make intelligent choices, be an informed voter. That's what I ask people to do. That's all I have to say.
Election day is coming. We have the opportunity to get things straightened out with the school board. Hope you do a little research on that. I'm just going to say that they didn't have to raise the taxes this year. They got $5.5 million from the federal government. The school was closed all year long, but they raised the taxes 2.4%. The nonsense got to stop. We can stop it right now. We have 4 new people running for school board. I'm not going to say names. And I'm going to stop right there. Anything else? Yeah, I think we're good. You want me to go on?
No. Commissioner Wolfie.
I'll request you go on. I was at the MTA's Public Works building. It's a beautiful facility.
They all got a chance to come out Saturday morning
It was
at 8 o'clock. It is a, yeah, okay. We'll talk about that just a little bit. It's been a long time coming. Reason we really needed a new building was we have a lot of seasonal equipment, winter stuff, leaf equipment, and you use it for a few months and it sits outside all year long and rusts and deteriorates. Now we have every piece of equipment that we own inside. We're going to get a lot more mileage out of our equipment. It just makes something I said. It just makes better sense to move everything inside. Besides that, you guys have a good facility now to work in. So hope you get a chance to stop out Saturday. It's out on about 5,400.
It's 400.
Even? Okay, because the office was 5,401. Oh, that's right. Okay. 5,400 right behind Sam's Club. Saturday morning, just drive up the hill. And we're going to have the meeting in the new building. Not the older one out front, but the new building. Hope to see you there. I'm sorry, Steve, I didn't mean to jump on your stuff there.
I was actually talking to MTA's Public Works building. That's okay.
Oh, the other new building. Okay, well, we also built a building for the Muhlenberg Township Authority. Same reason. The equipment was sitting outside. We just had the open house. It's beautiful. And if you get a chance, you want to go over there, call the office and we'll make some kind of arrangements and go over and tour the building. I forgot about that. So, thanks.
Commissioner Lupia.
Nothing more than what everybody else has already said. We have our budget meeting on the 23rd. Show up, it's important, sets our financials for the rest of the upcoming year. And the stress that, be neighborly and try to stay positive and go from there. All I got.
Thank you, Commissioner. The other thing that until we meet again, Halloween will be there. We have our ordinance about the time of day Halloween is and your light on. So Joey, if we make sure that's prevalent, if it isn't already, we'll go on the website, just because that'd probably be a little more active than it was last year with the COVID situation. The other item is, as we talk about all the time, if you want to learn about how township government works, the best time, and thank Dawn and her team for a lot of work they put into the budget. Come Saturday and see how your tax dollars are spent. There's no other way to see how decisions are made. It's 5-6 years in a row. The 6 years in a row, the township has not raised the millage rate, making some tough decisions. which if anyone follows local government is a pretty amazing feat in a community of our size, with a police department of our size. So, you know, instead of posting on Facebook, come out and see for yourself how it all works. My one last, I just have a question. The salt bin over at Jim Dietrich, are we gonna, we're looking to do that? If it's not, can we get Dawn to talk about any financial implications for the budget meeting? For the market development over there. Right now. She just wrote. I was watching. If I could do all the ROI, put it there, I'll save on gas, but you know that. All right, so I don't remember, I don't know if that was in there or not. But that's it. Everyone have a good evening. Enjoy the weather.